Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria, often referred to as the King of Cocaine, is one of the most notorious and influential figures in the history of organized crime. Born on December 1, 1949, in Rio Negro, Colombia, Escobar's life is a gripping tale of rags to riches, power to downfall, and the impact of his criminal empire on Colombia and the world. In this comprehensive biography, we will explore every facet of Pablo Escobar's life, from his humble beginnings to his rise as a drug lord, his reign of terror, and ultimately his dramatic downfall. Early life and humble beginnings. Pablo Escobar was born into poverty in the Antioquia region of Colombia. He grew up in the city of Medellín, where he faced the harsh realities of life in a struggling, working-class family. His father, Abel de Jesus Dari Escobar, was a farmer, and his mother, Hermilda Gaviria, was a school teacher. From a young age, Escobar displayed a resourceful and ambitious nature, earning money through various means such as selling stolen gravestones and participating in small-time crimes. Escobar's early life was marked by his desire for wealth and status, which he believed could be achieved through illicit means. As a teenager, he entered the world of crime by engaging in petty theft and selling contraband cigarettes. It was during this time that he developed connections with other aspiring criminals who would later become his partners in the drug trade. The Cocaine Revolution. Escobar's life took a dramatic turn when he became involved in the cocaine trade. He recognized the immense potential for profit in this illicit business and, along with a group of associates, began trafficking cocaine from Colombia to the United States. This marked the beginning of his journey into the world of organized crime, and he quickly rose through the ranks. In the 1970s and 1980s, the demand for cocaine in the United States skyrocketed, and Escobar capitalized on this opportunity. His Medellín Cartel, which he co-founded, became one of the most powerful and ruthless drug cartels in history. They were responsible for smuggling enormous quantities of cocaine into the United States, Europe, and other parts of the world, amassing a vast fortune in the process. The Medellín Cartel was known for its violent methods of maintaining control and eliminating competitors. They engaged in brutal turf wars with rival cartels, leading to numerous casualties in the drug trade. Under Escobar's leadership, the cartel was responsible for countless murders, bombings, and acts of terror, making him one of the most feared men in the world. Rise to power. Pablo Escobar's rise to power in the world of drug trafficking was marked by a combination of cunning strategies and ruthless violence. He was not only a shrewd businessman, but also a master manipulator who used his wealth and influence to corrupt government officials, law enforcement agencies, and even judges. Through bribes and intimidation, he built a network of protection that allowed him to operate with relative impunity. One of the key factors in his success was his ability to secure the loyalty of those around him. He provided for the communities he came from, distributing money for housing, education, and healthcare, earning him the nickname Robin Hood. This made it difficult for law enforcement to gain the support of the local population in their efforts to bring him to justice. Another crucial aspect of his rise to power was his willingness to use violence when necessary. Escobar was not hesitant to order assassinations, bombings, and other forms of violence to protect his interests and eliminate threats. His willingness to take extreme measures made it challenging for both Colombian and American authorities to apprehend him. Government corruption. One of the most disturbing aspects of Pablo Escobar's reign was his ability to corrupt the Colombian government at various levels. He used his immense wealth to bribe politicians, law enforcement officials, and judges, effectively buying protection and influence at all levels of society. At the height of his power, Escobar was rumored to have controlled a significant portion of the Colombian Congress, which allowed him to pass legislation that favored his interests and hindered the government's efforts to crack down on drug trafficking. This level of influence and corruption made it extremely difficult for authorities to prosecute or even locate Escobar. Manhunt and Escobar's escape. The United States, concerned about the drug epidemic fueled by cocaine, began putting immense pressure on the Colombian government to capture and extradite Pablo Escobar. The Colombian government, under President Cesar Gaviria, declared war on the drug cartels, particularly the Medellín Cartel. In 1991, the Colombian government proposed a new extradition law that would allow drug traffickers to be sent to the United States to face trial. This was a significant threat to Escobar and the Medellín Cartel, as they could now be prosecuted in the United States, a much more formidable justice system than the Colombian one. In response to this threat, Escobar declared a war against the Colombian state, launching a campaign of terror that included bombings, assassinations, and kidnappings. The Search Block, a specialized police unit, was formed to track down and capture Escobar. The United States provided intelligence and support to the Colombian authorities, but the search proved to be a long and difficult one. Escobar's vast network of safe houses and supporters made it challenging for law enforcement to locate him. In July 1992, after a year-long manhunt, Escobar narrowly escaped capture in a dramatic rooftop chase in Medellín. The chase is one of the most iconic moments in the hunt for the drug lord and was widely covered by the media. Surrender and imprisonment. After months on the run, Escobar realized that his options were running out. He made a bold move and negotiated his own surrender with the Colombian government. In exchange for his surrender, he demanded that he be allowed to build his own prison, which he believed would provide him with better conditions and security. The deal was struck, and in 1991, La Catedral, a luxurious prison built to Escobar's specifications, became his new home. Inside, he lived a life of relative comfort, with access to all the amenities he desired, including a soccer field, a bar, and a private suite. He continued to run his criminal empire from within the walls of the prison, with loyal associates visiting him regularly. The luxurious conditions in which Escobar was living within La Catedral raised public outrage and concerns. The Colombian government faced immense pressure from both domestic and international sources to transfer him to a conventional prison. This eventually led to a tense standoff between Escobar and the authorities. Escape and the hunt continues. On July 22, 1992, Escobar made another daring escape from La Catedral. He had received a tip that the authorities were planning to transfer him to a regular prison, and he decided to flee before that could happen. Escobar's escape was facilitated by his loyal henchmen, who helped him break out of the prison. From this point, the hunt for the fugitive drug lord intensified, with both Colombian and American authorities working to track him down. In the months that followed, Escobar managed to evade capture, moving through safe houses and relying on a network of supporters. However, the noose was tightening around him, and the manhunt was closing in. Death of a drug lord. Pablo Escobar's life came to a dramatic and violent end on December 2, 1993. He was tracked down to a safe house in Medellín by the Colombian National Police, with support from the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA. In a dramatic and deadly shootout, Escobar was shot and killed on a rooftop. The circumstances surrounding his death remain a subject of controversy. While the official version is that he was killed in a firefight with the authorities, some have suggested that he may have taken his own life to avoid capture. Regardless of the specifics, Pablo Escobar's death marked the end of an era in the history of organized crime. His life and legacy continue to be the subject of fascination, debate, and numerous books, movies, and television series. Legacy and impact. Pablo Escobar's legacy is a complex and polarizing one. On the one hand, he is remembered as a ruthless drug lord responsible for the deaths of thousands and the suffering of countless more. His actions contributed to the drug epidemic in the United States and fueled violence and corruption in Colombia. On the other hand, some in Colombia still view him as a Robin Hood-like figure who provided for the poor and invested in their communities. There are those who argue that he filled a void left by the government's neglect of marginalized communities and that he had a certain degree of support from the local population. Beyond these conflicting views, it is undeniable that Escobar's influence on the world of drug trafficking and organized crime was profound. He revolutionized the cocaine trade, making it a global industry with far-reaching consequences. Escobar's life in the Medellín Cartel also had a significant impact on Colombian society and politics. The drug cartel's immense wealth and power influenced the political landscape, leading to a long and complex struggle for control between the cartels and the government. In the years following Escobar's death, the Colombian government, with the support of the United States, continued its efforts to combat drug trafficking and dismantle the remnants of the cartels. While progress has been made, the drug trade still poses a significant challenge to Colombia, and violence related to the narcotics trade continues. Popular culture and media. Pablo Escobar's life has been the subject of extensive coverage in popular culture. Numerous books, documentaries, and feature films have been made about him. Some of the most notable portrayals include the following. Pablo Escobar, The Drug Lord 2007, a Colombian telenovela based on Escobar's life. Escobar, Paradise Lost 2014, a drama film starring Benicio del Toro as Pablo Escobar. Narcos 2015 to 2017, a popular Netflix series that chronicles the rise and fall of the Medellín Cartel, with Wagner Moura portraying Escobar. Loving Pablo 2017, a film featuring Javier Bardem as Pablo Escobar and Penelope Cruz as Virginia Vallejo, a journalist who had a romantic relationship with him. Pablo Escobar, The Man Who Made the World Tremble 2018, a documentary that provides insight into Escobar's life and impact. These portrayals often delve into the complex and contradictory aspects of Escobar's character, highlighting both his charisma and brutality. The life of Pablo Escobar is a riveting and disturbing tale of ambition, power, and crime. From humble beginnings and poverty, he rose to become one of the most powerful and feared figures in the world, thanks to his ruthless tactics, immense wealth, and the corruption he sowed in Colombia. Pablo Escobar's reign came to a violent end, but his legacy endures. He is remembered as both a criminal mastermind and a figure who divided public opinion in Colombia. His impact on the drug trade, organized crime, and Colombian society as a whole is undeniable. The story of Pablo Escobar serves as a cautionary tale, illustrating the destructive consequences of unchecked ambition and the far-reaching effects of the drug trade on individuals and nations alike.